Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today's message is for anyone who's at a point of your life where you are starting it over, whatever it is. It may be a relationship, it may be a certain personal challenge, it may be a job, it may be a change of your home or whatever it may be. Today I've shared a message on our Instagram community that is all about starting over, because we all find ourselves sometimes at those places where we need to find a new direction, or we have to make an important decision and we kind of feel discouraged, or we might feel a bit scared, like, oh, what will happen out of this? But if we really take a conscious look at what's happening, we will recognize that the universe offered us something new, and at this present moment we may not be really able to see what is happening, but deep inside, if we really pay attention to how we feel, if we're able to kinda detach from fear, we will recognize that there's kinda excitement that is really hidden behind the layers and layers and layers of doubts. And this excitement is really interesting because it's kind of encouraging you to make some new steps into new directions that may start a completely new life for you. I've shared this message that says, don't be afraid to start all over again. Start from scratch, to be a beginner, to be bad at it, to fail, and to keep trying. Those are the steps that introduce you to mastery and resilience. And know, my friend, that today's beginner is tomorrow's master. So you have to start somewhere. And it's an interesting message because I know for myself, in my life I've changed, I've moved for 4 times, I've changed about 5 jobs before I've started doing what I'm doing today. And every time I've been through those changes, it was always kind of challenging. For example, when you're moving to a new home, you know that you have to move all your things with you, you have to find a new place that hopefully will resonate more with everything you're doing that the previous was. And you never know what is waiting you on the other side, and sometimes we are facing with a health situation that kind of forces us to stop doing something that is important to us, maybe because of a burnout or because of an injury or because of certain reasons, whatever it is. We may find ourselves in this crossroad where we really need to slow down, reflect a little bit, and ask ourselves an important question. Okay, what this situation is really teaching me? Because I think the greatest art in those kind of moments is to see the lesson and to really look at it objectively, like how to implement it, so I stop repeating the past mistakes. Even when we're changing our job, maybe the new job will be worse than this one, and it's not a bad thing, it's just something to learn from. So the next one can be even better than this one and the previous one. And those are all challenges we may be questioning to ourselves, or when we get into a new relationship and we don't know if that new relationship will be actually any better than the previous one. And we're getting into the unfamiliar zone, and this is where people get scared. But what truly happens when we get into the unfamiliar zone, we stretch ourselves. We kind of open up to what else exists in this reality, and sometimes we are exposed to even worse things. Sometimes we experience something similar than before, like similar patterns in relationships, similar fears, similar co-workers, similar challenges, similar problems than the previous one. And that's where the universe is teaching us, hey, you haven't changed your beliefs around yourself, you haven't changed your perception around possibilities, you haven't worked hard enough on yourself, you haven't upgraded a new possibility to perceive yourself deeper for who you truly are and what you truly deserve and what kind of people you don't tolerate in your life anymore. And maybe you haven't learned to forgive enough, and you're meeting similar people that are just teaching you to forgive to the old ones so you can attract towards yourself greater ones, new ones, right? Those are all lessons that are teaching us to look at new beginnings through the lens of bravery, through the lens of excitement, through the lens of seeking for opportunities, or better word, creating the opportunities, making new opportunities, getting ourselves to the energy of new opportunities. This is a great lesson that I've learned through consistent meditations. Every single day I plug myself to the energy of new opportunities, and I look at this from this perspective. I ask myself, how would I feel if something new would find me today? How would I feel? And maybe close your eyes and just ask yourself, how would you feel if something new, something really incredible new would find you right now, or today, or in the next few days? How would you feel? Because this is the energy you're looking for. This is the energy you want to create your life from. And I like to start my day this way, to really just imagine that something incredibly new is finding me. That's how we start making new experiences. That's how we open up new potentials that can bring to us something exciting, something wonderful, something to learn from, something to become wiser, something to become more acknowledged, more experienced, so we can have a greater story to share with others. Because, you know, if we study ancient traditions or any culture, we will find out that it was always explored and expanded through stories. There were stories that are guiding culture forward, not science, not religion, not anything else but stories. Stories are what is expanding us. Stories are what makes our life more rich, more abundant, and that's what makes us wiser, to experience more and more things that expands the story of our lives. So we have something to share, something valuable to give, maybe something valuable to write about, something valuable to talk about, or whatever it is, right? That's what makes us wiser. And I think too many people really get stuck at one way of living and never decide to try something new, like to change a job just because the present one feels really boring. Maybe at some point it was exciting, it was great, and you were growing and you were expanding yourself. But at some point you've noticed that you can't grow anymore at this job. You can't get to the higher level anymore. It is not supporting you to level up anymore, because there are people above you and those people don't want you to be there. And when you find yourself at those positions, this is the sign for you that it's time for a change. And usually at those times, if we don't do anything about it, we start meeting certain challenges, like the job becomes even more boring, or people become more anxious or more frustrated, and the energy there becomes a bit heavier or maybe darker. And you may recognize the signs as, okay, it's time to level up. Let's level up myself. Let's get myself onto the new track, into a new direction. And it's scary and it's hard. And you know that when you will get to, maybe this is just an example, to a new job, you will be a beginner there. You will be a new one, a fresh one there. You will need to learn everything all over again. And that's what we are scared of. That's what we are afraid of. And we'll meet new people and everything will be kinda different, and then we are scared, what if we will go into the worst job than the previous one? Those are all the things we're dealing with. But we have to look at those things that every time we decide to do this kind of a change, it's for the good. It's for the good because it will bring us some freshness into our lives. Even though that experience may be a bit worse than the previous one, which most probably is not the case, but sometimes it happens like that. When I was changing my jobs, 2 times it happened that the new job was actually worse than the previous one, but at the new job I got an incredible opportunity then for the next new job, which was a job of my dreams. So sometimes, it's like we make 2 steps forward and then we make 10 steps backwards and then we make 30 steps forward. It's a constant motion, right, of ups and downs. And when we go through those steps of kind of climbing downwards, we feel like we are a failure. We think that we did something wrong, but actually it's all for the greater good. You're growing and expanding, and that's what you're meant doing. So I just wanted to encourage you that if you're at the place where you're kind of starting over, it's a really good thing. It's not something to... It's okay to be scared. It's okay to worry, like what will kind of come out of it, but know that it's okay because you're stretching yourself. You're opening yourself for something new, potentially exciting, potentially positive, potentially good for expansion of your personal experiences. And what later I've learned in my life, all those things I've been through, taught me so incredible lessons that I can share now with you. And sometimes something really heavy may happen just so we can find what it is teaching us. Because a few months ago we received an email from a person who wanted to take his life. He was a successful entrepreneur, but at some point he noticed that the job is not, what he was doing was not satisfying him anymore. And then he got into drinking, maybe even drugs, and his life started falling down. His relationships separated, everything started losing its meaning until he came to the point where he said, well, it's enough, I'm over, I'm done here, I will end my life. And he came across one of my videos and he watched it, and it kinda didn't change much within himself, but he decided, well, I will wait until tomorrow, I will do it tomorrow, he said. And the next day he watched another video and he said, well, I will do it tomorrow. And he started postponing this project of his until at some point he gained a momentum of enthusiasm for starting over. And at some point he started over and his life started changing. And those are examples that it's never too late. Even when we're at the rock bottom and we really don't know if there is a way out, we really feel like there is no potential breakthrough here for me. When we actually completely let go of everything, of worrying, of being frustrated, of being angry, of every possible emotion we may experience, we let go of it. At some point we let go of it. We all come to the point where we are so, we have so much enough of everything that we just let go and we say, oh, screw everything, I'm done. And when this happens, a breakthrough finds us. A new opportunity finds us, a new person finds us, we come across a book, we come across a video, we come across something that uplifts us. And there's no coincidences in this universe. Everything happens as it's meant to happen. And sometimes, if you would look at yourself from a higher perspective, and let's say that you know yourself completely well, 100% truthfully, you know yourself, you know how you're functioning, you know what you need to be triggered, you know what you need to be pushed to do something new, you would kind of guide yourself to the hardest possible moments of your life only because you understand that those are the things that will trigger you to such a depth of your soul that you will change something. And that's how sometimes you treat yourself from that higher perspective until you gain a greater level of compassion towards yourself, and you actually start making changes before it's almost too late, before you get to the rock bottom. Until at some point you become so conscious and so moderate that every single day you pay attention to how you feel and you start following more to these intuitive callings, intuitive guidance, that inner compass, as I usually say, that is kind of navigating you through life. But until then, sometimes we just have to move through those hardest moments and decide to start over, to be a beginner, to start from scratch, and to come to the realization that today's beginner is tomorrow's master. And whatever we are starting today, we know that firstly we have to be bad at it to become good at it. And it can be whatever, right? And you know that because you've been through it in the past. Just that in the past you thought that something bad is happening to you, that something challenging is happening to you. But if you would know back at that time that those are cycles of nature. Those are cycles of nature, that everything moves through a cyclical transformation. And once we start reading the cycles, we can notice, oh, right now I'm in this cycle, oh, right now I'm in the phase where my relationships are not going well because maybe the people I was hanging with are not really supportive for who I am becoming. Maybe they were for who I was, but I've decided to change. I've decided that maybe those people belong to my past but not to my future. So right now I'm thinking about letting go of those relationships for a while to see where I am if I'm alone, what are my needs, what books I want to read, what talks I want to have, what music I want to listen, what hobbies I want to embody, and so on and so on, so I can know myself a little bit better. Maybe you find yourself in that phase and you notice, well, those are the cycles of nature, and you are the nature, and you're personally going through the cycles as well, through those phases. And each phase is valuable, is important. Even those where it feels like everything is falling apart, those are the phases you will be appreciating the most when they turn into something beautiful once again. So I know sometimes it's hard and challenging, but it always turns out into something rewarding and meaningful. So, my friends, to anyone who needed to hear this today, I love you, my friend, because I know that sometimes we just need this friendly reminder that needs to push us to do this, or just support us at doing that. Because I know when I was making big changes in my life and I didn't have much people around me that would actually support me, I always had one or two friends who said to me, hey, I'm so happy for you. And those were the most needed words I needed to hear at that time. So I hope I can be this friendly reminder for you at this point that this is what you need, this is what you need. So go fully into it, embrace it, and open up to the best possible opportunities that are finding you, and really perceive them when they find you. Really notice them, find them, see them as signs, and look deeper into them and say yes to them, so the doors can open up and you can bravely step through them. So my friends, I hope you found something valuable today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Thanks to all of you for supporting my art in our Etsy store. I Draw My Passion. The link is in the description of this video. Thank you so much. With that, you're supporting this mission, so you're truly appreciated. Until next time, one love.